Well, in another settlement, thousands of AT&T mobile phone customers may be getting refunds. The Federal Trade Commission said the company agreed to pay $105 million in penalties and refunds to customers who say they unlawfully billed them. It's the biggest fine yet for a practice known as mobile cramming. Well, the company typically charged customers $9.99 a month from third-party companies for services people never asked for, such as horoscope texts and celebrity gossip. Well, AT&T kept at least 35% of the charges and made it difficult for customers to understand its billing. Well, the company is required to notify affected customers about the refund program, and those who believe they were wrongfully charged can submit a refund claim at the FTC's website. Well, Scott Schober is a wireless technology expert and the president of Berkeley Varitronics Systems. He joins us from New Jersey. Scott, come on, this is nothing new. AT&T gets snagged, but I think other companies are following suit. At least I can attest to that.
Yes.
Come on, I mean, you know, you sign on to something, and next thing you know, you got 10 billion other things tacked onto your bill, and the company can't explain it. Can you explain it?
Yeah, that's the part that's amazing. If you ever try to decipher one of these phone bills, it's really hard. Most people look at the bottom line number. They don't go through statement carefully and look at these other miscellaneous charges. And that's where the gotcha is. If you examine your statement, you'd probably catch some of these fraudulent charges and say, hey, wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense. So customers need to be vigilant and dig in and look closely at their statement to see if there's any unauthorized charges and take it up with the carrier immediately.
Well, you know, Scott, like a large percentage of customers are not vigilant, and of course these companies know this, but even in the case when they are vigilant, like my wife, she caught this thing at least 2 or 3 times on the bill, called up the company. I'm not going to mention the company's name right now because they're not in this lawsuit, another wireless company, and they said that they would change it, and they didn't. It was on the bill yet again. Maybe after the 6th or 7th time, she got some satisfaction. I mean, companies are not just willing to give up what I would call illegally taking your money.
Yeah, that's what's wrong. If they don't take that charge off there, you know you've got a problem. In fact, a lot of people have complained. In fact, over 1 million people have filed complaints just against AT&T alone. There's been 7 other filings against other companies for similar practices just this year. So the FCC commissioner is upset with this and said they're really cracking down. So these carriers got to come forth and got to start adjusting this, not just providing refunds, but they got to explain for what's really happening here.
Okay, we have a couple of lawsuits here right now, but Scott, in your estimation, how many people do you think are actually affected by this?
Well, it's estimated that at least 20 million consumers are victims of these type of cramming escapades, and it really costs hundreds of millions of dollars to consumers, and it's going unnoticed. Very few have been successful, such as your wife, in fighting this problem. In fact, a coworker here mentioned earlier, they too had multiple fraudulent charges, and they didn't know what to do. How am I going to go fight this? It's only $9 or $10. It's going to take a half hour on the phone just to try to get a person. It's very, very frustrating, and many people are switching from one wireless carrier to another when they give up and can't get refunds.
Well, in terms of this mobile cramming, do you think the federal government needs to get involved here, maybe creating some sort of laws through Congress perhaps that can stop this kind of activity?
Yeah, they got to crack down a lot harder. And in some ways, I think what's happening with the wireless carriers, since they're getting a cut on this, they're turning a blind eye to it. And that's what's really wrong, because it's on their statement, on their letterhead, company head. So they're really the one providing the bill and allowing these fraudulent charges to happen. They have to be more diligent in preventing it. And if there is fraud, they need to remove it, because it goes against all the consumer laws that are out there.
All right, Scott, when I contact you next time, it won't be by phone or mobile, it'll be by drum. How about that?
There you go. Much safer.
Scott Schober, thank you for joining us.